Hi there, I'm Dani, or DaniIsntCool as I'm known on the YouTubes, and this is the story of how I became a Nerdfighter. So our story starts in 2014. Remember when everyone was like freaking out about Ebola and I thought that I was straight? Yeah, then. So I was in the grocery store with my family, and my parents told me and my sister that we could pick out a book each. She ended up getting Divergent, and I was mysteriously drawn to this blue book with two clouds on the cover. I had read the back and it didn't really seem like the kind of book that I would normally read, because up until then I had only really ever read Harry Potter and was obsessed with it, and I didn't think that anything could ever top it. But even though it didn't seem like something that I was going to read, and my only real experience with romance novels was Twilight, for some reason I was like, you know what? I'll give this book a chance. I was in SoCal at the time visiting family members, so we were all staying in a hotel room, and when we got back to the hotel room, I started reading it and I was immediately hooked. I quickly found that I was able to relate to Hazel. I was born with this thing called pectus excavatum, which is when your ribcage, instead of being shaped like this, is shaped like this because your sternum is indented. It's normally not too bad, but in my case, it was so bad that it was pushing down on my heart and lungs and making it difficult for me to breathe. And even though my breathing problems weren't as bad as Hazel's, like, nearly, I could relate to not being able to do things that normal people were able to do. So 2014 was coincidentally also the year that I underwent the Nuss procedure, which is where they take a metal bar that looks like this and put it under your sternum, and then they flip it over to pop it back out. Naturally, this is very painful, and I was on a lot of medication. At this point, I wasn't really used to having anything stronger than Advil at all, so I'm pretty sure that the medication they put me on affected me more and differently than it would have affected someone else. I was constantly like breaking out in cold sweats, I had trouble sleeping, and I was just generally acting really weird. Like, I started thinking really deep about everything, and I stopped talking to my friends for some reason, and before I knew it, I was in the middle of an existential crisis. I'd remembered that word from a Dan is not on fire video that my sister showed me, so I decided to look it up on YouTube. But instead of Dan staring at me, I saw John Green's face, and I was like, isn't that the guy who wrote Tifios? So I clicked on it, and aside from the confusion of who the F Hank was, I enjoyed the video, so I decided to subscribe. So I was now a casual viewer of the Vlogbrothers, but not really a full-blown Nerdfighter yet. So fast forward to December of that year. I saw that there was a Vlogbrothers live stream in my sub feed, and I was kind of bored, so I clicked on it, not really expecting anything, just thinking that I might watch it for a bit, and I was greeted with Butt Fart Man. I didn't end up watching for a bit like I thought I would. I ended up watching whenever I could during that year's Project for Awesome. I had heard of what Nerdfighters were in their videos, but I didn't really have the desire to become one until I saw how amazing and ridiculous this community could be. And over the next few months, I did some research. I watched Brotherhood 2.0, I totally legally acquired Hank's music. I found out who Esther Earl was, and I even decided to start my own YouTube channel. I don't think I would be the person I am now if none of this had happened. After years of trying to suppress my weirdness and my passion for fandoms like Harry Potter so I didn't scare people away, I finally found somewhere where that stuff was celebrated and I could be myself. Unfortunately, I lent that first copy of Tifios to a friend and never got it back, so I don't still have it, but I do have this amazing community that I'm so proud to be part of. That being said, I kind of feel like the community has spread itself thin, because it used to be that you could like go on the Ning and find people to talk to, but that's not really the case anymore. Everybody's just kind of like spread around, and there's no real one place for them to convene, except Nerdfighteria, which is in Boston, and I'm all the way in California. I'm not salty or anything, and I do wish that I had more friends who are Nerdfighters, so please be my friend. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Generic Tifios Nerdfighter story. Bye!